Have you ever wondered why some people grow more peaceful, content, and fulfilled as they age, while others appear caught in a whirlwind of worry, stress, and exhaustion? The answer isn't always about living conditions or health. It often stems from a small but pivotal shift in how they view life. Surprisingly, the secret to living more joyfully and peacefully in old age doesn't lie in doing more, earning more, or trying harder. On the contrary, it's often in doing less and letting go more than happiness unfolds. That's right. The less we worry about things that don't matter, the less we chase after expectations that were never truly ours, and the more space our soul has to breathe, to live fully, and to be free. In today's video, we're going to explore 5 seemingly simple things. But if you start being intentionally lazy in these areas, you might just rediscover the ease, the joy, and the sense of fulfillment you thought you had lost along the way. Watch until the end, because the final point might be the wake-up call you never knew you needed. A simple yet powerful truth that could completely change how you live the rest of your life. So let's begin this journey together. Not one of holding on to more, but of learning when to let go and how to live more deeply in every moment. 1. When you're lazy. About interfering in others' lives, you'll find peace and happiness. Throughout your journey as a human being, there have likely been many times when you poured your heart and love into the hope of helping others live better. You wholeheartedly advised your children to make the right choices, patiently pointed out to your partner the unhealthy habits they might improve, and took the time to offer suggestions to friends or colleagues, all with one simple intention: to help them live a happier life and avoid unnecessary pain. But what did you receive in return? Sometimes it was silence filled with distance, other times resistance and pushback, and most painful of all, growing emotional separation, even though your intentions were rooted in love and goodwill. The truth, which often only becomes clear after many disappointments, is this: no one can truly change unless they are ready to. And more importantly, no one should be forced to change just because you want them to. Each person is on their journey, shaped by their beliefs, experiences, and inner world. And sometimes, the most compassionate thing you can do is to step back and let them walk that path on their own. Each person is their universe, shaped by a unique constellation of beliefs, old wounds, and personal experiences. How they behave today is not random. It results from a long journey you may never fully understand. No matter how skillfully you phrase your words or how sincere your heart may be, true change only begins when something shifts inside them, not outside. The more you try to fix others, the more exhausted you become. The harder you work to mold someone into your version of who they should be, the more it feels like shouting into a cold, empty void. Your words disappear, your kindness is misunderstood, and the distance between you grows wider. And then, one day, you're just tired. Not bitter, not angry, just tired. And in that quiet exhaustion, something gentle awakens. You begin to let go a little. You stop trying to change people. You begin to understand that everyone has the right to walk their path, stumble in their way, and grow in their own time. From that moment on, you turn inward. You begin to tend to your garden, adjusting your mindset, choosing your reactions more mindfully, and setting boundaries that honor your peace. Slowly, you realize the truth many spend a lifetime chasing. Peace doesn't come from perfecting the world around you, but from being at peace with yourself. Letting go doesn't mean abandoning someone. It means giving them the freedom to be who they are, and giving yourself the priceless gift of inner calm. 2. The more you're lazy about controlling everything, the happier you become. Have you ever felt completely drained without knowing exactly why? It's not because your workload is too heavy. It's not because someone hurt you. It's something deeper. You're exhausted from trying to control everything. You try to manage every situation, micromanage every detail at work, Carefully monitor each word in every conversation. Anticipate your child's reactions. Interpret every expression on someone's face. Even the invisible things, like what others might be thinking about you, how they might judge you, or what they might expect. You live in a constant state of preparing, predicting, and protecting, as if letting go for even one moment would send your world into chaos. You convince yourself that control equals safety. But here's the truth. Excessive control is often the root of quiet, chronic exhaustion. And then, after walking a long path filled with effort and overthinking, a simple but liberating truth dawns on you. Not everything is yours to hold. And that's not a bad thing. You can't control the weather. You can't dictate how others feel or respond. You can't force life to go smoothly or expect everyone to understand you perfectly. Life isn't a program to be coded or a puzzle to be solved. It is wild, unpredictable, and beautiful in its unruly rhythm. And only when you loosen your grip, truly let your hands and heart soften, can you take your first deep breath in what feels like years. You begin to understand that some things are worth adjusting, but others are simply meant to be accepted as they are. The happiest older people aren't the ones who control everything. They're the ones who've learned the delicate art of knowing when to try and when to release. They know how to smile through setbacks, walk away with grace, and appreciate the imperfect as a beautiful part of the journey. They don't force life to follow a specific map. They let life teach them how to walk with steadiness. Even when the path is unclear, they find peace not in certainty, but in their capacity to adapt, accept, and smile gently amid the messiness of it all. Letting go is not failure. Letting go is the moment you realize that true freedom doesn't come from controlling everything. It comes from understanding that you don't have to, and you can still be perfectly at peace. 3. The more you're lazy about chasing those who don't value you, the more peace and happiness you'll find. There are relationships that, at one point in your life, meant everything to you. They were your world, where you poured your heart, where your thoughts went first thing in the morning and last thing at night. You were the one who always reached out first, sent the messages, and made the plans. You put in the effort to stay connected, mend what was breaking, and hold on. Like if you let go, everything would fall apart. You believed that if you tried harder and loved more, they would eventually see your worth and meet you halfway. But then, time passed, and one day, you slowed down. Not because you stopped caring, but because you were tired. And when the exhaustion grew heavy enough, you had no choice but to face a truth you had long tried to ignore. Love that flows only from one side will eventually become a burden. Life doesn't promise that everyone will stay. Some people come into your world to walk with you for a while. Others appear to teach you something, to remind you that not all connections are meant to be kept, and not all feelings are meant to last forever. Here's the beautiful part. When you stop chasing after those who don't prioritize you in their lives, you don't lose them. You find yourself again. You reclaim your time, your energy, your peace. The hours you spent waiting, the emotional effort you poured into silence, the anxiety from unanswered messages and postponed plans. You finally breathe. You begin to see more clearly what real love feels like. The true connection doesn't leave you guessing. It doesn't make you question your worth or wonder if you're being too much. It doesn't make you feel like a burden just for reaching out. You realize those who genuinely care won't let you wonder where you stand. They will reach out, check in, and show up without you having to ask. Their presence is calm and steady. No drama, no performance, just quiet consistency and true attention. And then it clicks. Real love never asks you to sacrifice your self-respect or wound your heart just to hold on to someone. Letting go is not a defeat. Letting go is an act of courage. The moment you recognize that you deserve more, more respect, more reciprocity, more peace. And in that very moment, you return home to yourself. You stop trying to prove your worth. You stop trying to be someone else. You simply exist just as you are. And that, finally, feels like enough. 4. The more you're lazy about holding on to lifeless relationships, the more peace you'll find. When we're young, we're often taught that love, in any form, whether friendship, family, or romance, is always worth fighting for. We learn to put in effort, make sacrifices, and try just a little harder for the people we care about. And in a world where everything feels temporary, holding on can seem noble, even necessary. But as time passes, a quiet truth emerges. Not every relationship is meant to last forever. Some connections once brought you joy, comfort, and a sense of belonging. But slowly, they shift. What was once light becomes heavy. What once felt safe, now feels strained. You begin to feel like a guest in a place you used to call home. You're always the one who reaches out. You make the plans, smooth over tension, and fill the silences with small talk to keep the bond alive. And sometimes, in the quiet after a conversation that no longer feels right, you wonder, did I do something wrong? But the truth is, sometimes it's not about blame. Sometimes, your path and theirs simply no longer walk side by side. And that's okay. As you grow older and wiser, you understand that real connection flows both ways. If you have to carry the entire weight of a relationship just to keep it going, maybe it's time to set it down. Not out of bitterness, but out of clarity and self-respect. A relationship that no longer nourishes you is like a tree with dried out roots. No matter how much you water it, it won't turn green again if the life force is already gone. And here's the magic. When you stop forcing things, when you become a little lazy about chasing, pleasing, or proving, the people who truly belong in your life start to stand out. They stay, not because you beg them to, but because they genuinely want to. Their presence is steady, not out of obligation, but out of love. You realize that you don't need a contact list full of names. You just need a few souls who see you, understand you, and make your heart feel light in their presence. Life isn't measured by how many people you know. It's measured by the depth of the connections that make you feel truly seen and safe. So allow yourself to be lazy in the right ways. Not because you've given up, but because you've chosen to be kind to yourself. Choose to keep only what nourishes your spirit, and gently let go of what remains only out of habit. Because in the end, real love never asks you to trade your peace to keep it alive. 5. The more you're lazy about caring what others think, the more authentically you'll live. At some point in life, you've probably asked yourself, what will people think if I do this? From how you dress and speak to the major decisions you make, there have likely been moments when you chose not what made you happy, but what felt safe under the gaze of others. You wanted to be accepted, praised, or, at the very least, not judged. When you're young, that desire seems vital, even necessary. We all crave approval, validation, the comfort of being seen as good, respectable, worthy. But as life moves forward, and you've stumbled enough, experienced enough, you begin to see the truth. Most people are far too busy living their lives to scrutinize yours the way you imagined. And even if someone does take notice, what they think doesn't change the reality that you are the only one who has to live with yourself every single day. The more you try to please everyone, the more disconnected you become from yourself. The harder you work to fit everyone's expectations, the further you drift from your own joy and truth. You find yourself caught in a never-ending cycle, never quite enough, never at the right time, never truly free. But then, you begin to let go. You begin to get a little lazy, not in apathy, but in clarity. You stop obsessing over what others might think. And no, that doesn't make you selfish. It liberates you. You've likely seen older people who wear bold colors, laugh loudly, and speak their minds without filters. They're not trying to follow trends or meet anyone's standards. Through time and trial, they've learned that life is too short to live under someone else's gaze. And so, they choose to spend what time they have left living deeply, honestly, joyfully, on their terms. Of course, this doesn't mean living without caring for others' feelings. Understanding this powerful truth means that someone else's approval should never come at the cost of your self-respect or well-being. The more you lazily tune out the noise of unnecessary judgment, the more mental space you create for the things that truly matter: your joy, your peace, and a life that feels real. Because in the end, the most beautiful version of you, the one that truly thrives, is the one that stops performing and simply begins to be. Ultimately, true happiness in our later years doesn't come from how much we accomplish, how much we own, or how hard we push ourselves. Real happiness is found in the quiet moments, when we learn to loosen our grip, slow our pace, and let life unfold in its gentle rhythm. There are things in life that, the tighter you hold on, the heavier they become. Relationships that the more you force, the more of yourself you lose. Worries that, no matter how tightly you cling to them, don't change a thing, except to weigh down your heart. You don't need to be strong all the time. You don't need to please everyone. And you certainly don't need to control everything to feel safe. Sometimes, the key to a joyful life is learning to be lazy in the right ways. Lazy in caring about things that don't matter. Lazy in engaging in battles that drain you. Lazy in becoming what others expect instead of who you are. Instead of adding more anxiety, more expectations, more burdens, try letting go. Let go of obligations that don't serve you. Let go of worries that were never yours to carry. Let go of the judgment from those who don't know your story. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, what are you carrying that's no longer yours? Are you tired of trying to fit into someone else's mold? Are you delaying the life calling you to meet expectations that no longer feel true? Maybe now is the time to permit yourself to rest, intentionally and lovingly. To be a little lazy, not to retreat from life, but to live it more gently. To slow down, to be real, and to move through the world with a lighter heart. If today's message resonated with you, I'd love to hear what part spoke the loudest, and how you plan to bring that wisdom into your own life. Thank you for sharing this space with me, and I hope you'll join me again soon on this journey of learning to live lighter, deeper, and more fully every day.